try and bounce back from their first defeat of the season when they take on the Northland Taniwha in an interdivision game in the ITM Cup. Both sides coming off losses. Northland unable to survive a late rush from Hawke's Bay, so still with just one win for the season. And Craig Dowd, former All Black prop, alongside me. Auckland well beaten by Waikato last weekend. They'll want to get things back on track. Yes, correct. Hi TJ and hi everyone out there. Auckland will certainly be looking for an attitude adjustment, I'd say, from the coaching staff from the game they came out in the weekend. And yeah, of course, Northland, they've had some close matches this year, but not managing to do it in the last couple of minutes. So both teams wanting to get it right tonight. Well, as you can see, the weather is not all that favourable. It's a night for the Hardy fans, that's for sure, and it'll test everyone, including our man on the sideline, but we couldn't think of a better man for the role, a man who was born with Cambridge blue blood in his veins, Ian Jones.
Yeah, it's a winter sport, Tony, loving it down here, sideline, challenging with both of these sides. The rain arrived in Auckland around about 4 o'clock, and unfortunately isn't going to go anywhere over the next 80 minutes. And you'll also notice, as you're going to go through this Northland line-up, conditions wind-wise really challenging for both the hookers and the goal kickers. Well, there's the Northland team, and unfortunately there is one big name missing tonight. Rennie Ranger, it was to be his last game on Eden Park for a couple of years at least, but he has been forced to pull out of this game, more because the shoulder injury that he has just couldn't stand up to the short turnaround that Northland have had. A couple of other changes in the side. Bryce Williams getting a breather, he's on the bench. Daniel Hawkins into the side again, and there's the man who'll captain the team tonight. Jake Putty Ngatai takes over the captaincy from Rennie Ranger. Back in New Zealand, of course, this year, playing with the Highlanders, and now the Northland side, Daniel Hawkins there, who was playing very, very well for Northland against Hawke's Bay at the weekend, but got a yellow card late in the game. Certainly affected things, playing his 7th game in ITM Cup Rugby. Has played here once before for the Marcos on Eden Park. So they stand in the rain while we take a look at the Auckland team. They were going along just fine until last weekend, and they got thumped by Waikato. They get their young 5'8" Simon Hickey back from injury after he missed that Waikato match. Jack Wetton gets a start at lock, and there's a reshuffle in the front row with Angus Ta'aval and Sam Prattley taking over at prop. So Hadley Parks leading the side out. We're going along well, unbeaten, but well and truly beaten last weekend, Craig.
Yeah, and I think they turned up just expecting to turn up and take the victory. And I mentioned earlier on, it was an attitude thing for Auckland. They really need to sort that attitude out tonight. Get out there and from day one or from minute one, start this game with how they want to finish.
Well, there's Jack Wetton in the starting lineup tonight with Bryce Williams on the bench. And Simon Hickey at just 19, but already a key member of this team at first five. They really missed him last week in what was a rather muddling performance, which won't have pleased their coaching staff one little bit. Been some great games between these sides over the years. It's the first time they've met in a couple of seasons. Northland in the Championship, Auckland in the Premiership. There's our referee for tonight's match, Shane McDermott. He'll be assisted by Angus Mabey and Hamish Walker, with Ben Skeen, the TMO. Northland, 30 seconds, you can see, won here last in 2008 at Eden Park when they beat Auckland by 21-13. So the rain driving down as Daniel Hawkins prepares to kick off for Northland. Leaki Molly waiting.
Headley, you're good.
So, one last check from the ref, and we're all set.
Wait for the whistle, mate.
So Northland it is who kick off through Daniel Hawkins, and first touch of the night for Peter Saley. And Piri Wepu away to Hickey. And Auckland just looking to work it away from their own 22. Hickey floating the kick down to Ben Seymour, the Australian, playing at fullback. His kick floated down to Hickey. And now Lalangi Visinia. A little bit of early force back. Seymour again. This one's got plenty of height, but no great chase. In fact, no chase at all. Wepu decides they might open things up. Now there's a mistake, kick into touch. And that's Malakai Fekitoa who's put that out. So a little victory there for Northland.
Yeah, and I think that will be slightly disappointed. Auckland were trying to win the kicking battle and get the territory, which they weren't getting last week. But yeah, no, just a bad kick from Malakai Fekitoa there.
So Matt Moulds. Here's the man who'll throw to the line out. Been getting up to challenge, but it's there. Takalua off to Hawkins. And Warren Dunn playing in the number 12 jersey tonight, heading it up. Pari Ngatai. Opportunity here for Northland to put some pressure on early in the game. Hawkins. Now coming off the left wing is Malupo. So no Rapeni tonight, no Rennie Ranger, which is a bit of a shame. I think for the neutral fans as much as anyone. Now nice little dab there from Takalua. David Morgan and then Pari Ngatai carrying it on. Takalua getting things organised. Tom Murday, the Queenslander, waiting for it. And now Hawkins just holding it up. And numbers here too. Quick passing. Matthew Wright was the man on the right wing. And a penalty.
Well, it's a good start there from Northland. In these conditions here, it's going to be who can control the ball and look after the ball and win that close quarter contact. And what Northland was saying with the statement is they'll take the big Auckland forward pack on. They'll build the field position, hold the territory, and if they get the points like the early points like this, they'll take them.
Well, Dowdy, this was the end of it, but the pattern of play from the line out, which is a beautiful take from the middle, going the same way for 3 phases. They're really dragging the Auckland defence across, and then the opportunity back on this right-hand side was the pattern that they set up. They executed it brilliantly. The coaching staff will like that. And Hawkins with an opportunity from the Otamatea club. He's playing out of 5 from 5. This will test that percentage.
Yes, he knocked over everything last week and a drop goal. The only drop goal that's been scored in the ITM Cup so far this season, would you believe?
I wouldn't actually, but there you go.
So Hawkins, now he's started it right and it's going to stay out there.
Still, that forces Auckland to kick the ball back to Northland in the right area of the field.
So, first opportunity. Northland can't turn it into points, but they're down the right end of the field.
I think accuracy is the one thing that Auckland need to really work on that's been letting them down this season.
He's got such a powerful boot, and just managing to keep it in play was Matthew Wright. Hawkins back in the play, puts it high. Carpenter leading the chase. And the ball's been knocked on by Auckland, so here's another opportunity for Northland to make some play. Digging it out, Takalua. Now pulled down by Carpenter. Good player, this guy. Good, solid, representative player. Now, the Welshman, Wilgreath John. Hawkins holding it up. And Roy Griffin. The ball's been ripped away by Leaki Molly, though. And Hadley Parks puts boot to ball. Racing back is Seymour. Giving chase was Vince Ussell on the right wing for Auckland.
Straight on the man on the ground. Straight on the man on the ground.
Who is penalised? It's always so tempting, isn't it?
Well, it was strong play from Leaki Moley to be able to rip the ball away in the tackle there and create something for Auckland. But in these conditions, the referee has pinpointed people losing their feet. And this is the second penalty we've seen from that. There's we see Leaki Moley getting his hands on the ball, just showing his strength, getting it away. And, of course, in that situation there, you must hold your feet.
Yeah, moments before talking up the pattern of play of Northland, everyone understanding what they're doing. On that occasion, on the third phase, Roy Griffin just a little bit hesitant, didn't quite run strong enough.
Pari Ngatai, who got a bit of a push in the back as he tried to deliver the ball, made it awkward for Takalua. And Wetton's done some good work, and Saili profits by picking the ball up and moving it away to McCartney. So turnover possession, now Auckland's chance, and they've got a back line lined up away to the left. Parks swings the big pass away, and here's George Moala. Gets a nice one away to Bessinia. But coming across initially Warren Dunn, and then some assistance from Daniel Pryor puts him into touch.
Yeah, and of course situations like that, that's when Auckland are at their most dangerous, from turnover ball or a little opportunity. And Jack Wetton then created something from the breakdown. He spotted the ball was out, counter-rucked, and they won it, and caught Northland slightly off guard. And here we see George Moala, very, very strong.
It's David Morgan who's pulled that one down for the Taniwha. So early stages here at Eden Park, and no score. Pari Ngatai eventually comes back to Takalua, and the kick from Matthew Wright to give chase is not a bad one either, and he waited too for Moala. But look at the strength of the Blues winger. And now he's done really well, ridden out of a couple of tackles before Pari Ngatai gets back and takes him. But Hickey has it. And now straightening his Parks. Wepu looking to switch it. Joe Edwards. Very consistent for Auckland this year, and they get a penalty.
No clear release, one.
As we see there, Ross Wright just not releasing in the tackle. The law's clear. You make the tackle, you hit the ground, you've got to let go.
Yeah, I think he's going to argue, Dowding, we'll see on the replay, that he was the second tackler. Matt Wright wasn't even looking at the ball, wasn't he? His one intention to tackle his opposite man. But Ross Wright, the man penalised. This is the tackle coming up here. He'll argue that he was the second man in. Confirm otherwise. No, he rode the tackle down.
I think you can have a double team in the tackle, though. You still have to let go when the knee hits the ground.
Pretty Wepu, Tony, on goal kicking duties tonight.
Yes, makes you wonder whether Hickey might not be 100% fit enough to play, but perhaps not to goal kick. Pity, he's been a little bit up and down with his goal kicking this year. 5 from 10 so far. And he can make that 5 from 11, although, boy, that's a knock on.
Lost forward and goal?
Yes, that's a mistake.
I'm going to say lost forward and goal. Lost forward and goal.
So that's Seymour, the fullback, who's dropped that. Look, well, just a basic catch and force, but unfortunately for him, he hasn't taken it cleanly. This is going to be a 5-metre scrum.
Yes, now that's the sort of stuff you'd hear Darren Whitcomb and George Conyer screaming from their coaching box, because that's a coach killer, that. Huge opportunity now for Auckland. 5 metres out, options either side.
Crouch!
And what should be a strong scrum.
Well, Moala is actually right behind the scrum at the moment. The left winger has come across, and they're going to the right. Saili away to Wepu. Up quickly was Hawkins to make the tackle. Northland just a little bit short on the right, and that's the way Auckland go. Towards the line, and the referee has the arm out again. Wepu gets things organised. Edwards. Wepu again, this time fires it wide. Hickey can't take it, so they'll come back for the penalty.
No, over here on the sideline, offside.
I suggest, Craig, after 2 misses from the goal kicking, it's going to be really tough all evening. I've got to say, I think the better option might be go for the line out and have a drive for Auckland.
Yeah, you'd think there's a missed opportunity there really from Auckland, and they're going to take the line out option. You're in these conditions here, you can slide in pretty much, so aiming at the knees when you get the ball and just going very, very low, you can actually slide along the ground and get across that try line.
be honest, I don't think we're going to see too many penalty kicks at goal from now on, Tony. So there's 70 to go in this match. Really swirling here. Also tough on the throwers.
Oh, McCartney dried the ball off, and if he hurries, he might be able to get it in before it gets soaked again. There it goes, down to Molly. They take it in, and they'll try and rumble it across. And once again, the arm goes out. Wepu holds it up. Sean Polwood it was. Now they go to Hickey, moves it on to Parks, straightening, Hadley Parks, big and strong, and over for the first try.
Well, he does it week for Auckland, Hadley Parks. He breaks that line and creates so much for this team. He's such a vital member of this Auckland side, and I'm not sure how many tries he scored this year, TJ, but he's certainly scored a few. He's been a wonderful player, Hadley Parks.
There you go, it's his 4th for the year, his 13th at this level of rugby. And here it is again. Hickey just giving him the ball straight.
Nice try, Pity Wepu. Once more, the guy going to try to make conversion, but you go back to, okay, where did that try come from? Well, it came from the simple miscatch from Seymour. Northland had the opportunity for a 22. They coughed it. No, they've cost them 7, Tony.
As I mentioned Seymour before, the fullback, I said is Australian. He's actually originally from Napier, but he's been based in Australia playing with the Western Force and back in New Zealand playing for Northland in the ITM Cup. But some nice footwork too. Wasn't all just about power and strength.
No, he took the gap on between the 10 and 12, didn't he? And he spies the gap very well.
So Hawkins kicking low and flat, giving his forwards a chance to knock it back, but Leaki Morley has it for Auckland, and they have a 7-point lead. The high kick from Wepu, and Malupo it is who fields it, but under pressure. And eventually coming, and it's Ross Wright who feeds it up. Matt Moulds, the hooker. Takulua back to Hawkins, and he stabs. It's not a bad kick. Hickey coming across suddenly realised he wasn't going to get it on the full, but again the chase isn't good, and so he's got plenty of time to set himself for the kick downfield. Quickly taken by Northland. Hawkins has it. He goes to the air. Wepu it is, coming back and takes it. Hawkins quickly onto him, and Wepu rather fires it out the back door, but tidying up is Feki Toa. Hooks that kick back in field. Maybe an opportunity here for Northland to launch something from the back. Seymour looking for the kick, and well covered by Parks. And then bang, that big boot of Visinia. He has got a massive punt on him, this guy. He's kicked it well downfield.
And that's the result Auckland have been looking for, I suppose, in the odd mistake this season. But that's the sort of game that if the Northland team are going to play that tactical kicking battle, they need to counter it.
Well, you saw the little box there, Northland, up until 1994, known as North Auckland. Looking to drive it away, but not really getting anywhere. And so Morgan feeds it back. Takulua with the kick. Waiting underneath it is Moala. And off he goes. Just slipping as he got over halfway, but he looks really dangerous, doesn't he, George Moala? Hickey cut out pass to Parks, and that was Hawkins back. Visinia looking very casual. And again, it's a huge punt. That's Takulua, the halfback, who's got back. Let's see what he can do. He manages to put it out just over halfway.
Yeah.
This is the danger.
Malupo, I should say, beg your pardon.
This is the danger Northland are going to fall into. If they keep playing this kicking game without getting their chasing or the people putting pressure on the catcher, Auckland are just going to all of a sudden decide to run this, and they've got danger players out there that can actually carve them up.
There's 1 metre space. Just play the line out. This is space one.
So compressed line out called by Auckland. And Morley drifting back takes it. Wepu, flat pass to Hickey. And on to Joe Edwards. Wepu spinning the pass back to Hickey, looking for space and finding it too. Lovely touch from the little number 10.
Now that's the sort of stuff a tight forward loves to see from his 10. Just put us down that end of the field, please, and we'll rumble up the middle.
Well, that was Hickey's best kick of the evening. Up until now, a lot of them going to hand. North winning the kicks and duels. A lot of them going high in the air. Talked about the swirling wind, but also they can skid on the surface here at Eden Park if they want to go low.
When Mould throws, complaints from Auckland that it wasn't straight. Takulua waits. And he kicks for Malupo to chase. Ussel taking it airborne, and it's there for Piriwepu. Hickey parks, and a bit of space out on the left for Feki Toa. Just saw the defence coming up on the outside, Parks, and held on to it. Hickey again, this time shaping to kick and then running. Scragged by Parinatai. And well, this time Vissinia trying to stab one through. It's been snapped up and booted off downfield by Matthew Wright. He's tearing after it. He's up against a prop. Feki Toa getting back. Oh, almost had it. Well, panic stations in the Auckland defence then when they realised that their last line of defence had a number 3 on his back. But Feki Toa got back to help out.
Well, it was a clever play actually from Northland. They saw that Hickey took the ball up. So Lolangi Vissinia came in as first receiver, put a chip through that was in no man's land really. Northland recovered it, saw no one home 15 and put the pressure on. Just unfortunate not to quite gather the ball there. I think Malachi Feki Toa might have got a hand to it.
Good work too by Warren down the second 5'8" for Northland on that occasion. Turning the ball over, sliding, topping it on the run. Getting back to that graphic actually quickly, Tony. I never ever played for Northland, ever in my rugby career. Left to play for North Harbour before the name change.
Crouch!
Well, it was because of North Harbour, really. That was, I suppose, one of the things that led to the name change. A couple of the unions in the south of the province going in with North Harbour. Auckland taking it out from their line. Molly. Just the one try in the game so far. Now a charge down. Good work again from Carpenter, but it'll be a drop out from the 22.
Yeah, Tony Maharangi, which is based in Warkworth, so just 40-odd minutes north of Albany, the Harbour Bridge. They came into the North Harbour competition, therefore the name changed. They might as well stay or go to Northland. Maharangi, home club of the Brook brothers.
Ball taken just close to the touchline by Matthew Wright. Hawkins again, putting it high, leading the chasers Seymour. Coming forward and taking it effortlessly is Vissinia. Got a lovely skill set, he's a big man. And that has gone out on the full. Well, Vissinia might be down. I think he might have taken a bit of a knock as Hickey's touch finder goes out on the full.
He's copped one into the mouth there, Vissinia. You're quite right, Simon Hickey will be disappointed with that kick. The Auckland team might want to look at their tactics slightly.
Well, Daddy, you know this ground as well as most people, maybe not from a kicking point of view, but it's swirling a lot and picking up stronger as the game continues.
And Moulds it is with the throat. They go down to the back, and Roy Griffin has it for Northland. Hawkins onto Parinatai. to punch it up. Polwood and Edwards, the two flankers, making the tackle. Takalua is taking them on around the fringe. Pryor gets rid of it. And now Tom Murday. Takalua again. A good passage of play here from the Taniwha. Now Pryor, whose brother's on the Auckland bench tonight. Might see Carter Pryor just a little bit later on in the proceedings. And here he is again. Daniel Pryor setting it. Ross Wright makes a metre or two. Now Pari Ngatai. Well met though by Joe Edwards. Pryor again. Takalua off to Moulds. Good defence though from Auckland. Pari Ngatai having another go. Polwood made the tackle. So they go wide to Hawkins. Dunn moving it on. Now Carpenter, just a little isolated. But stretches it back nicely. Takalua one way then the other. Nowhere really to go. Northland do well to hang on to this.
White going forward. Contest on the ground. White forward.
Turnover. So, well, it was a promising build-up, but in the end, they just ran out of places to go.
Well, they did. I mean, Northland took the ball up several times there. Then they've shown really good strength over the ball to win that space and keep Auckland away from it. So they're playing with lots of phases, but not really going with much direction or having much firepower on the back line to break this Auckland defence.
Just not committing enough numbers, are they, Craig? There we go, Tony. Some more info for you.
1922. First match played between these two provinces, or Auckland and North Auckland as they were known back then.
And it was an All Black, Bunny Finlayson, 1921, I think it was, scored the first ever try for North Auckland. Bunny Finlayson All Black in 1924 through to 1926.
There's Bronson Murray on the left. Very familiar figure. Centurion.
Come on.
Well, there's another good Northland prop, former Northland prop in the Auckland coaching staff, Nick White, just leaving the field.
Yes, there's quite a few connections from both, obviously within the region. Like you mentioned Pryor, well, grandsons of Albie Pryor, another famous Auckland
legend of Auckland rugby, Albie Pryor.
Lines. Set.
Of course, Darren Whitcomb, former Blues hooker, coaching Northland. Wepu, away it goes to Hickey, and I think he might have done it again. One more of those, you'll get a set of steak knives. 3 in a row, I think he's going for.
Yeah, I think just got to keep flushing that and get on with it. Don't let it get to you. But they are crucial mistakes, and they're keeping Auckland stuck down in the territory they want to get out of.
So Moulds look like they haven't had opportunities, Northland. Certainly had plenty of time in the Auckland half. Morgan it is in the boot as Northland drive ahead towards the 22. Wetton has managed to infiltrate. Now he'll have to get out of there, and if he doesn't, they'll help him get out of there. Our arm comes out.
Collapsing them all. Collapsing them all.
Well, in fact, it wasn't against Wetton. I don't think it was a penalty for collapsing.
Well, if you want to find the penalty in that, I'm sure you can. I think
take your pick.
Yeah, it's Jack Wetton came with. He's not coming through the side. I think his hands are over the top, but his body's certainly coming around the side. And of course, Jack was a member of the Northland team last year, so he's playing against his old teammates. But he's really got to get out. They pulled him down. And he took the man with him. So
hope they've changed the line-out calls.
The line-out calls, Tony. No one knows them anyway.
They're all too complicated, made up by people like you, Ian Jones. Well, that wasn't straight. No matter what the call is, if the ball doesn't go in straight, He'll have a scrum.
I'll tell you what, that does my head in when you get a penalty. You turn down the 3 points, you go for the line out, and you can't get a fundamental like throwing the ball in or winning the line out. It's a wasted opportunity. I know one man down on the sideline who would be angrier than I would.
Well, I was just laughing, Dowdy, because, you know, we're always so good at just moving on from those little mistakes that we used to make, didn't we? Never gave Fitzy a hard time. Never gave Mertz a hard time when he dropped the ball. Christian Cullen didn't make the tackle in the corner. We just moved on. Never.
Auckland feed it, and Wepu off the back, and Fekitoa running strongly and pops an offload away to Polwart, juggled it but made good progress. Now Wepu just looking to up the ante a bit here, Auckland. Increase the tempo of the game. McCartney. Now Wepu back to Hickey. Can he keep this one in play? He can. Now Seymour, not for the first time tonight, dropping the ball. No harm done that time. Now, Hickey brings it forward. McCartney there. Nailed by Carpenter. And Hickey, that time, kick is, it's Malupo who's come across from the far wing. And he's put up a kick that just went straight up in the air. Malupo was about 10 metres further downfield when it landed. And pressure on Northland. They give up a penalty, hands in the ruck.
Yeah, I kind of think the pendulum swung, and Auckland have finally decided, let's run this thing. We've got the players to be able to run an open play and cause Northland all sorts of trouble, rather than trying to engage in this kicking battle, which they're not having much success with. Let's keep the ball in hand a little bit more.
Well, this was the moment Fekitoa really threw himself at the line in a rather ambitious offload that Polwart did well to hang on to. And here's the penalty.
The other thing that's happening out there too, Craig, that rain's coming down a little bit harder, which actually in funny way makes gripping these rugby balls a little easier than the misty drizzle that the match started in.
I'm just looking at that replay. That's one that could have gone either way, really. Northland playing it on the ground, or Auckland hanging on, or was it both? Oh, Parks is making another strong inroad here. Well into the 22 now. Go Auckland. Saili. Taken on by McCartney. Upright but strong enough to get it to ground. Wepu. Away now to Visinia, throws the dummy, moulds, and right wrapping him up. But Wepu emerges. Just 4 or 5 metres from the line here, Auckland. Visinia in amongst the forwards. Saili. Auckland getting closer here. Now Wepu. Polwart. He's taken. No, Northland holding, but how much longer?
Hands on.
McCartney now trying to drive over the line. He's very close. Wetton has a go. He can't make it. Pratley leaves it behind. And in fact, he's knocked it on.
Lost forward 1.
The Auckland forward just been slightly indecisive on whether to pick it or not. I think in that place, you've got to pick it quickly and you've got to go quickly. Keep the defence under pressure. Here we see the Auckland forwards just taking their time on whether to go or not, and there's Sam Pratley picked the ball up, but arguably whether it went forward or back, he lost control of it, so knock on. Now, I'm not sure we've seen too many scrums tonight. Is this just one of the first?
Well, I think it's only the second scrum of the game. Oh no, beg your pardon, no, Auckland have had 4. It's the first scrum feed of the game for Northland.
Set.
And they might come under a bit of pressure here too. Auckland with the bigger pack.
My problem here is we're too low. We talked about height inside. I need you higher, okay? Here's our mark.
He's telling them he's going to need them higher. So if they get low enough or the shoulders go below the hips, then the scrum's going to collapse. At least you want to have the hips and the shoulders parallel to the ground. That way the scrum shouldn't collapse. When I say that, I say shouldn't. No guarantees.
Binds. Set. Heading down, far side.
Well, the penalty goes against Pratley.
Yeah, I always look at which angle's steeper on the spine. If you look at from the rear end down to the shoulders, it usually gives away which one collapsed.
Hawkins puts it away into touch. This is Pratley's up against Wilgriff John, the Welshman. I'll tell you what, he's a rare Welshman, is Wilgriff John, because he's actually experienced a victory against the New Zealand side. Happened in, well, last year in the under-20 tournament. Wales beating New Zealand. Molly knocks it down, and well, complaints from Northland that had gone forward, but Polwart, playing the whistle, has snatched it and made a great run. And now here comes Auckland with an opportunity. Feki Toa, ball knocked away, but in the corner they go. And Vince Arsor with the try for Auckland.
Well, great lead up there, and going back to Polwart, snatching the ball from the back of that line out and creating a real opportunity for this young man here. Vince Arsor has been on fire, 18 years old, and scored his 4th try in 3 weeks. Of course, not quite gathering the ball at the back of the line out. And here's Sean Polwart showing real strength, real go forward, having an absolute blinder now, the absence of Luke Braid. And of course, the opportunity was always on out wide. Well done, Vince Arsor.
2 mistakes by Northland, a drop ball by Seymour, and in goal, and not straight by Moulds when they had an opportunity. It's cost them 12 points so far, kick to come, and I guess that's the fine line we're talking about at this level. Taking on a team like Auckland on their home paddock of Eden Park. Every time you have an opportunity, take it, don't make the mistakes, because when you do, they do punish.
Oh, nice moment there for Vince Arsor, the 18-year-old playing on the right wing for Auckland. Just turned 18 in January too, so he really is a young fellow. And now here's someone who's been around a bit longer. Piriwepu. Wide out, drifting towards the post and over. Well, that's a great kick from Piriwepu.
Well, that's a confidence boost I suppose Auckland needed. There's a really decisive feel about the way that Sean Polwart led the attack, and they decided, right, we're playing at speed, at pace, getting the ball wide and doing what we do well.
Just saw a shot there of the try scorer, but from the kickoff, Auckland players packing in front of the man taking the ball down. You're not allowed to do that. It's hard enough to get the ball back in a rolling maul situation, and so Northland get an opportunity.
Tony, that was Sam Pratley, and hasn't he had a great last couple of minutes? Knock on, 2 penalties. Yep, sure, his team scored 7 points. But you see just blocking Jack Wetton there.
Yeah, quite clearly offside there. And this is an area of the field Auckland have been working on very hard this week, as their kick receipt.
It wasn't one of the standout point. Well, it was a standout point against Waikato because they did it pretty badly. And there's that frustration again. The penalty kick into touch and the throw not straight. And I think that's the second time that's happened tonight.
Not a lot of pressure there either, is there, Craig? I mean, Northland's got two metre locks, so some tall timber to hit.
Yeah, Matt Moulds is a loose forward converted to hooker. He's been he's well known in the north, and he was in the Canterbury setup for the Crusaders this year. He's a player that's coming through. Competed with Sam Kane at the age group stuff as an open side flanker, but he's certainly big enough to play in the front row, and he's learning his trade.
We need to be the same height, or it doesn't work. So we need to find a medium between it. Okay.
Another one from the Otametea Hawks.
Yes, there's a few in there. David Morgan, the lock. There's another one. We'll have another look at this battle between Pratley and John.
Binds.
A big lad, John. He's about 123 kgs, but look at the hit in there from Auckland. Good possession. Peter Saili away to Wepu. Showed them the ball and then feeds it back. McCartney to Polwood, who's had a strong first half here at Eden Park. Eventually they get it back to Hickey. And, well, it's not a great touch finder there. Going out just short of the 22. Just for a moment there, Auckland just looked a little bit disorganised. It was, okay, who's going to kick this for touch? Hickey was standing deep in the pocket.
Yeah, what we saw was Perry Weepu take the ball into contact. Therefore, obviously, the link between the forwards and 10 was out of play.
Let's see if Moulds can get this on target. He can. Roy Griffin it was who took it down. Pari Ngatai has it in the back. And they set it for the drive. Well, no way forward, so Pari Ngatai takes it ahead over the 22. And Morgan now. Now Moulds backing in. Taken by Saili. The pick and go from Daniel Pryor, and beats the first, beats the second as well, and the third. So here's an opportunity now. Hawkins moves it on. Carpenter pops it up to Seymour. Takalua, away it goes to Matthew Wright. Well, this is the closest they've been. Takalua has a go just short. Murde over the ball. Went behind him and, well, picked up by Ross Wright. Good reaction there from the prop. Wasn't expecting that. Pryor fires it away to Hawkins. And the ball's been dropped out in midfield. And now hacked away downfield by Hadley Parks. And he's done himself a mischief, Hadley Parks. Racing back as Seymour.
He's up.
But I think Hadley Parks might have done a hamstring here. And now the ball hits the referee. Well, Northland again. They had an opportunity.
Sorry, boys.
Ball dropped
Pass him, so he's not a good option.
out in centre field. I think it was Derek Carpenter and now Hadley Parks. I think he's done himself some kind of mischief.
I think it's Vince So who's the one that's done the hamstring. He pulled up halfway through that chase.
Well, it's Carpenter who dropped it. Now, there's the toe through. And now look at Parks. He boots it. And then he pulls up.
And Vince So pulls up there. I think we might have had two hamstrings go at the same time.
It was Vince So just about to leave the field. Going to be a replacement, and it is quite bad. Left hamstring injury.
Tanina Soileongi comes on in 19. It's not Parks coming off, although he... Well, this is a sad sight for this young fellow, Vince Assault, who scored that try just a few moments ago. That looks a serious injury.
Such a shame, isn't it? He's played so well the last couple of weeks and been such a young player, really performing at this level. But, every bit of game time he gets, he becomes a little bit better. And he's one to watch for the future, this guy, Vince So.
Start again then.
Well, just keep an eye on Hadley Parks as well. He's bent over at the moment.
And I need you up. Yeah, that's it.
Soe Leongi.
And here we have another scrum. That last scrum we saw Sam Prattley put some real pressure. And of course, he's got a new prop now.
Bind. Set.
Yeah, good pressure.
Yeah, real heat coming on. And Auckland have made a real mess of this Northland scrum, although Takalua has done really well here. And in fact, Auckland have knocked it on. That scrum just disintegrated in front of him, and somehow he managed to bring it under control.
Hold, hold. Use it.
And back they go to Hawkins. Oh, boy. Well, eventually they get it away to Carpenter for the clearing kick. Almost dropped that Hawkins. Now Visinia Gets past the first tackle and then drops it.
Yeah, just the accuracy there from both teams letting themselves down. Northland were pretty lucky to get away with what they got away with, but then for Auckland to make the mistake out here leaves a little bit of pressure for them.
Listen, these are skillful guys out there. We know how wonderful they are at handling in dry, beautiful conditions. It is challenging, there's no question. Challenging conditions, challenging in the concentration for all these men. We've got 30 more seconds. They can go into the sheds for 10 minutes, sort themselves out, maybe get change of jerseys. Certainly Auckland will.
Well, they've had a few problems with their jerseys tonight, Auckland. They've gone with a 5-2 split in the reserves and 2 replacement props. They couldn't find a jersey with a number on it for Ufa Tongafasi, one big enough.
Tight head.
And the Auckland scrum doing pretty well. Get a one against the feed at the scrum, and Feki Toa attacks. Ball squirts out though, it's been snapped up by Moulds. Gets a lovely offload away to Hawkins, and an equally good one away to Pryor. He pops it up, and here's the halfback Takalua. Oh, this is a magnificent try, right on the stroke of half-time, scored by Matthew Wright.
Check the pass.
Well, he wants to check the pass.
Ruck down there. Time off. Ben, are you there? Can you please check how the ball came out of the ruck down there? I lost my sight. And the last pass, please. And how the ball came out.
Well, there's a list of things there.
The last pass, was it, Angus? Yes, the last pass. Happy with you.
Are you sure?
Well, Matthew Wright, it'd be a real shame if this was denied, because there was some brilliant offloading and support play in this. Rennie Ranger out there having a word, the water boy for the night. Now here's the ruck.
Just not getting the numbers at the breakdown, did they? Of course, not quite cleaning out the man there, letting him come through.
Well, I think that's a tackle, isn't it? I don't think he's got any problem there, Dunn.
Or was it lost forward, though?
Have we got another angle on that, please?
Ben Skeen wants another angle.
It's the turnover, and does the ball go forward after here when he rips it out? Does that go forward?
I don't think there's a problem with that, is it? I think, does that constitute a ruck, or is it still a tackle? He's got to make that decision.
Now,
has that
in my
gone
mind,
forward?
he's lost that forward.
Yes, that's the problem.
Carmo, can you tell the TMO, please?
Well, Carmo's had to vacate his chair for the TMO.
We'll make his decision for him.
Well, I think that one was okay.
Yeah, definitely that's okay.
Well, Ben Skeen is the man who'll make the decision, not us. Well, he's having another look at this one. If he's having another look at this one, maybe he's satisfied that the other one wasn't forward, Craig.
It might be the case. I mean, in my mind, it was where he ripped the ball out of the ruck and went to ground. He may have lost it forward.
Ben? Yes. 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 Thank you.
That's a lot of yeses.
Try it is. So the try by Matthew Wright, I don't think there was any problem with the way Carpenter ripped the ball out, because I don't think it was a ruck, still a tackle. It was just a matter of whether it had gone forward. He decided that it hadn't, and from there on it was a cracking try, and it's brought Northland right back into the game, especially if Daniel Hawkins can convert, which he can. Beautifully judged kick from the young first five, and so right on the stroke of half time, Northland get a much needed try, something to show for their first 40. Auckland leading 40-7.
Yeah.
Daniel Pryor standing by with Ian Jones.
Yep, thanks very much, Tony. Well, Dan, finally some reward at the end of the game, but boy, you've had your opportunities that first 40.
Yeah. It's one of those games where, you make a mistake and the other team are going to punish you. So we can cut down our errors and hold the ball. We should be able to execute like we just did there, so it's good.
We're looking forward to brother coming on the second half.
Taught him my tricks, but not all the tricks, so we'll see how we go.
Cheers, mate. Yours, Tony.
Yeah, brother Carter Pryor in the Auckland reserves for tonight. We might see him later on, but at half time here on a very wet night at Eden Park, it's Auckland leading Northland by 14-7. wasn't a bad one either, and he waited too for more. Now they go. Half-time at a very soggy Eden Park, and Auckland lead by 14-7. They scored the first 2 tries of the game, but as you see there, Matthew Wright has scored for Northland right on half-time, nicely converted by Daniel Hawkins. Billy Wepu's nailed a couple of conversions as well, 2 from 3 for him. And so just 1 converted try in it at half-time. And here's the first try of the game, and it was nicely taken by the skipper, Hadley Parks.
Yeah, and of course, a couple of simple tackles falling off Hadley Parks there, and him going through the middle. Like I mentioned, he's a smart player.
Second try not taken by Northland at the line out, and Sean Polwart making one of several strong runs in the half. Feki Toa, and despite an attempt by one of the Northland players, Malupo, to deflect it away, the pass found the man it was intended to. That was young Vince Asso out on the right wing. The 18-year-old scoring soon after left the field, and this was right on half-time. Daniel Hawkins involved in some really great work from Daniel Pryor. Takalua, the halfback, and eventually Matthew Wright going over. Had to be confirmed by the TMO, but I think that's a really great time to strike, Craig, for Northland.
That's right. As good a team try as you're going to get. Everyone sort of pouncing on the mistake and making the most of it, linking very, very well. And of course, it's all about backing up in this game when the opposition make a mistake, isn't it?
So deep in conversation in the dressing room. They know they've got some work to do. As we take a look at the stats, to be expected there'll be mistakes on a night like tonight.
Well, that's it, and that's why we can't go too hard on the mistakes in the area. Obviously, there's a very a game plan, both teams, and it involves a lot of kicking. But for me, it's the missed tackles that I highlight. We looked at the tackle with the tries just scored, and of course, falling off tackles, simple tackles on players. They're going to punish you. And of course, another area it will be of concern, especially for Northland, is the line-out throws not straight. It's the area they'll need to tidy up, because every time they make a mistake, Auckland will capitalise on it.
Yes, both of those not straight line-out throws coming after they'd put the ball into touch from penalties, which must be frustrating. But they're certainly still in it. The Northland Taniwha at half-time. Auckland lead it by 14-7. Half-time entertainment. I guess you'd call that a bit of house music for the fans here. Let's hear from the assistant coach of the Blues, Paul Feeney, who's standing by with Ian Jones.
Well, Paul, challenging conditions for both sides out there, but what adjustments do you need to make the second 40?
Yeah, Jonesy, we just had a chat at half-time. We need to hold on to the position a bit more, be a bit more patient on attack. We've picked and winned a few times. We didn't have a latch on. We just got to take our time around that area. And our kicking game, we put, I think, 3 out on the fall in the first half. We've got to be more accurate with our kicks, get a bit deeper, give ourselves a bit more time. So just simple mistakes, really.
Plenty to work on. Good luck.
Thanks very much.
So teams coming back out onto the field, and it looks like Wayne Nalawafa is out there in 21. And I'm just wondering whether Simon Hickey has not been able to make it back out onto the field for Auckland. Oh no, he is there. So it's going to be interesting. There is Nalawafa. As I mentioned before, they've only got 2 backline reserves. And I think it might be Hadley Parks. I think he might have gone.
Well, that's always a danger, isn't it, of going with a 5-2 split, trying to protect your forwards and not having enough cover for your backs.
So Wayne Nalawafa, who is a halfback who's going to have to play somewhere else tonight. It'll be interesting to see how they form up their first set piece. So Lalangi Visinia with the kickoff. Start of the second half. Northland got themselves back into it with that try just before half-time. And Sonatani Takalua, man who was heavily involved in it with the kick downfield, Peter Saili, takes it back up to halfway. Wipu stretching in, and they go to the left. And there is Nalawafe holding on in the tackle, so his first touch is penalised, and Northland get a chance to drive the ball down into Auckland territory.
Well done, Dan Pryor there. He got on that ball very, very quickly. He knew he had all rights to it, and Wayne Niliafi had to release that then. He's actually having a very strong game tonight, Daniel Pryor.
Here it is here. See, clear release. And then he went. Well, Northland need to make this one count. Twice in the first half, lineouts like these went astray. And they managed to scramble it back to Takalua. Hawkins moves it on. And Tahitua is on in 21. By the look of it for the Taniwha. They go to big Tom Murday, the Queenslander. And now Pari Natai. So Northland, first real chance to attack in the second half. Pryor sets it. And they'll go back to the left. Seymour up in the line. That was forward. Building again, and that's really been the story of their night for the most part.
They've come out quite strong, Northland. They've started very well, and they come out. That try they scored just before half-time would have given them a lot of confidence they needed. They need to carry on now.
Well, just having a look and see what the setup is here for Auckland. Well, they've got Fekitoa coming in at first receiver here. Hickey back at fullback. See Fekitoa in the yellow boots. And it looks like Tahitua has replaced Warren Dunn in the Northern back line. Well, Peter Saili decides who needs backs when you got me playing number 8. He puts it downfield and into touch.
Yeah, I think the forwards just want to get down the other end, picking and going from 75 yards out. It's too far away.
Yeah, we want to be down there, and if you don't get us down there, then I will. Pari Natai, well, look, it was intended for him. It's fallen for Pryor. He tried to pop it up.
He's off his feet, so we'll play lost forward first.
Okay, they're saying Dan Pryor took the ball down. Polwitt got on the ball quickly, but he didn't quite hold his feet, so he went for the first decision, which was a lost forward rather than the penalty.
Just need you up. You've got a match, okay? In terms of hot. That one there.
I've been correct with all of those replacements, Tony. Warren Dunn had a good first half too, come off. These guys, of course, got a pretty quick turnaround. So Tasman at home in the next round of the ITM Cup. Northland do.
Binds.
Well, it looks like
Set.
Nalawafe has gone onto the left wing.
Ball's here.
Wipu has it away to Visinia. Hawkins made the tackle, snatched away by Wipu to Hickey. Now McCartney on halfway. Hickey now moving forward onto it, little show of the ball. And now Fekitoa, who's run really strongly in this game. Pratley is there in support. Trying to rip it away was Pryor, but Auckland have it. Saili tried to free up the pass and the tackle of Pari Natai, but it's gone forward.
Yes, no, that was a good phase then by Auckland, but again, the errors, this is what killed them in recent weeks. They need to hang on to the ball and a little bit of composure and start again, but Peter Saili just trying to get the ball away. You see Hickey making the break, and of course Malakai Fekitoa is so dangerous ball in hand.
Well, listening to Paul Feeney in the halftime chat there, they had plenty to work on, didn't they, Auckland? But I think he summed it up just as he walked away. Basically, they just need to protect the ball and get more physical.
So just to bring you up with what's happened in the Auckland back, Fekitoa is going to go in to second 5, and George Moala is at centre, Nalawafe on the left wing. Because they'll be defending unless Auckland can shove Northland off another scrum. Putting some real pressure on there, Craig.
Yeah, they are. Northland, all sorts of trouble at scrum time, and the dominance is just getting better and better for the Auckland side. They'll know that their scrum is working, and they'll want Northland to be under a bit of pressure, and they'll want to continue and have more scrums, I'd imagine, just to keep them under that pressure. You see knees going to the ground and then coming high.
I think outside. Sorry, Craig.
He just judged Polwart there for knocking on when he tried to regather.
Jake Parinatai, it is, having his elbow attended to. Man who 48 ITM Cup matches, actually spread out over 11 years, played up in Japan for quite a while, Jake Parinatai, until he came back to New Zealand.
And it's great to see players like that come back into the ITM Cup, offer all the experience they've gathered over the years and pass it on to what is, I suppose, the next generation.
It's a pretty useful loose forward trio that they've got. Parinatai at 8, Daniel Pryor, who's a terrific player, at 7, and Roy Griffin, who does that tight loose roll well at 6, wins a bit of ball, carries it up.
Crouch! Binds! Sit!
Look for a big shunt here from Auckland. Here it comes.
90.
Well, they got the turnover, and now they'll have the platform.
What they will be looking for, and the referee, the reason why he won't be saying he spun that scrum, is they went for the second shunt. They had forward momentum first, then the scrum turned, and that's the key. Rather than trying to just turn the scrum from when the ball comes in, they go for the forward pressure first, then turn the opposition.
Well, here is what Craig Dowd, the man who knows all about what's going on in there, is talking about. Must get your thoughts too on how you think this new process is going, Craig.
Binds.
Wait and see what happens here.
Sit.
And it goes from Wetu, hooked by McCartney. And there it is on a plate for Piri Wetu. Hickey takes it to the line, cut down by Hawkins. And there it is for Wepu. Visinia moves it on. Fekitoa. Lovely offload from him. Now Edwards. Wrestled to the ground, just 7 or 8 metres from the try line. Hickey. Now Molly. Pryor made the tackle, but it's there for Wepu. And look at the lineup away to the left, and just too strong is George Moala. Well, he's moved into centre, and he has proven very hard to stop, and on that occasion, impossible.
Yeah, no, very good lead up from Auckland, hanging on to the ball, and we talked about the ball security, respecting the ball, looking after it. They did a much better job that time, Auckland, and of course when it came time to shift the ball wide, they had numbers to burn, but they didn't need them because this man here, George Moala, was too big and too strong. Malakai Fekitoa breaking the giving the offload there. And of course this is where the phase is built, and the numbers were there for Auckland to recycle, but as I went wide, they had numbers to burn. Great work, George Moala.
Out and out more energy in this movement here for Auckland. They'll be a lot more pleased with this performance. Desire to get over the gain line. Ball retention been a lot better. Sometimes need a little springboard, a little spark like that might set them on their way. And of course, a bit of a burst from the coaching staff doesn't go amiss either.
Oh, that goes well.
Well, it's the 3rd try for Auckland, and so they'll want to kick on from here. They've got a couple of big games coming up. They've got Canterbury and then Wellington. Got a bit of a break before the Canterbury game. Wepu, and that's another good kick from Piri Wepu. Missed his first, but he got the radar working well now, and Auckland out to 21-7.
And just quickly, Tony, Northland making 3 changes, all in the tight forwards. Robbie Abel, his dad Tony, actually, a Northland player, or North Auckland player back in the day, late 80s, early 90s. He's on there. Bronson Murray, Centurion's on there. And Bryce Williams from the Kamo Rugby Club also out there.
Hawkins with the restart, nicely taken down by Jack Wetton, and a good strong run from him up over halfway. Hickey now, and Feki Toa Moala. Well, he is going to be a real handful moving into centre. Hesineat leaves it. Wepu goes to the short side. Naloafe. And for Wepu. Hickey now onto Peter Saili. Scored a little behind the advantage line. Got up and went again. Wepu to Prattley. Wrestled to the ground by Pryor. Now Polwart. He's made good ground tonight, and this time they're offside. Wepu pops it back behind him to Wetton. And now away it goes to Hickey. Kicks out to the wing and out on the full, so they'll come back for the penalty.
Of course, knowing they had the penalty. You sort of get the feeling, don't you, the more times they get the ball to their midfield, Auckland are going to be dangerous. And they don't seem to be doing that at the moment. It seems to be stopping at 10, or their forwards taking it up.
Just watch Jack Wetton here.
Great leg strength going forward. See, what he knows is Patrick Tuatova is probably warming up on the sideline. he's going to get dragged soon if he doesn't start performing. So it was time for Jack Wetton to step up, and he did a good job of that.
Well, of course, really tough time for these guys on the sideline as well. Temperature dropping a little bit here, but they've been sitting in the rain for the best part of 50, 60 minutes coming up. Now going through their paces at the moment, trying to get the old blood flowing. Really tough for them. Get to a stage too, don't you, Dowdy? You sort of start trying to make no eye contact with the old coaching box after a while.
You do, but then this ITM Cup competition, the battle of attrition is quite high. You've got to remember the turnaround now from these guys playing on a Thursday. They'll be playing in the weekend again, so you do need your bench, and you have to utilise them.
Yes, we're told that's why Northland made a couple of changes. Rennie Ranger, for example, as Wepu slots it. Another one. Ranger probably be okay for the next game against Tasman, but guys that are just carrying niggles, injuries, the short turnaround means that it's just too much of a risk to take, aggravating on playing it on just a short rest.
And of course, when you get to round 6, 7 and 8, that's when the injuries start to happen too. So as we've seen tonight, there's been a few of those.
So it's 24-7 as Hawkins kicks Wepu straight back into the action. And Jake Parinatai takes it nicely over by the Auckland bench.
Been a little problem area for Northland tonight, the line out throwing, the accuracy of. We've got a new man now, Robbie Abel, from the famous Northern Club.
Well, you mentioned before Tony Abel. Of course, he's a nephew of the Going brothers, isn't he?
Yes, he
Robbie
is.
Abel?
He is from that stock. That's why he has to play for Mid-Northern.
Compulsory. Took a couple of years off to go on a Mormon mission, which is something that's a real family tradition. And, well, Northland have it. They're playing under advantage here. Now, Hawkins. Carpenter. Trying to build something here. Well, looks like Auckland have got a play. I think Feki Toa might be down. No, it's not Feki Toa. I'm just trying to think who that is. Oh, that's Joe Edwards, in fact.
Joe Edwards, he doesn't look good, does he? It's like definitely a shoulder injury there. I think he might be trying to pop that back in.
7.
We can all rip bleed. He's obviously in a bit of pain.
We'll go to the sideline and then, yeah.
Another youngster, Joe Edwards, 19 years old. New Zealand 20s rep this year. Another one with a very, very big future. We see him coming into the contact there.
Here it is right there, and...
Oh.
Made contact with Bronson Murray for the
Bronson
clean
Murray,
out. Just
Yeah, we'll do this kick at goal.
drove down on that left shoulder.
Of course, we talk about injuries in the game of rugby.
Stitcher needs to come and get this guy.
It's that area there that you're more likely to get an injury rather than we all think scrums and other areas. It's a contact area over the ball.
Will be Patrick Tuipulotu from the Ponsonby Club, jersey 22.
I thought you
He's big enough to fit that. He'll be the man coming on. And the golf cart's out there to bring out off Big Joe Edwards.
Well, this is a real blow because he's been playing very well coming off an excellent club season with Pakuranga. Of course, the Auckland champions this year. And his 15th cup match. That's a bit of a milestone in most unions, isn't it? That's a Blazer game, isn't it? Is that the case with Auckland?
For Auckland, it's 14 games, and yes, no, he played his Blazer game last week against Waikato, but like I say, he's come on the scene straight out of school, played his first full season of ITM Cup last year, and here he is, you know, still only 19 years old into the second season of ITM Cup. It's a sad sight. No one likes to see it. This kid, Joe Edwards, does have a very big future in the game, and hopefully he'll be fine.
Bryce Williams on in 18, and he's receiving, I think, might have a bit of a cut around the eye.
Well, Bryce's dad's an interesting spectator here. He does security at Eden Park. And unfortunately at the moment, his post is up in the tunnel, looking out for all the comings and goings inside.
And of course, since we're talking about Bryce Williams, he started at the Suburbs Club, but of course played for Auckland, and my very last game for Auckland was one of his first games. So he's been around a long time, obviously, if he played with me.
Well, of course, you being such a proud member of that West Auckland club, Suburbs, and produced some really terrific players over the years. I think you have good connection with some of those great rugby schools out in West Auckland.
Oh, they've really come of age, actually, in the last couple of years under Ramsey Tomakino. They've come back from the doldrums and now punching their weight in the top four.
Well, there is Bryce Williams. Well, just have a look at George Moala in this game, because this is another man coming off a season of Super Rugby, and he is immensely strong and growing to his all-round game with experience.
Yeah, that's right. The more these guys play at that level, the better they're going to get. And you see, for just putting the ball down, gathering his feet, just that awareness now, and such strength.
It's quite explosive, isn't it, Moala? And yes, he's probably just seen his little highlights package go up on the big screen here at Eden Park. Well, it's a sad sight, and we hope it's not too serious for Joe Edwards, but he's off. Couple of bad-looking injuries for Auckland tonight. Vince Asor early on.
You see he's taking oxygen there, so he's obviously in some serious pain.
Well, Daniel Hawkins is going to have a shot at goal. Taking the Medicab off very, very slowly. Well, their job just got a bit tougher.
Auckland, their job has got a bit tougher because the attrition rate for the Auckland players, they seem to be dropping like flies. I've seen Hadley Parks and Vince Arso, now Joe Edwards.
Well, Hawkins with the shot at goal. If it makes it, it's only just going to make it. It just had the legs. That's a good kick, because it's not easy kicking tonight here at Eden Park, but Daniel Hawkins and Piti Weepu doing a pretty good job. It's 24-10. And big Patrick Tuipulotu has joined the fray. Visinia with the restart down to Parinatai. Hawkins waiting for it. And he finds touch. There he is. Daniel Hawkins, who's gone north looking for an opportunity to be a regular in an ITM Cup team. And he's doing a pretty good job over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, he has, and it's all about opportunity for these guys, not just at ITM Cup level. These ITM Cup players are playing for a professional contract at super level, so now's the time they want it. They've got to start performing.
Molly wins the line out. They fire it out to Feki Toa. Just had to wait for it a bit. Hawkins there made the tackle. Saili sets it on the 10. McCartney. Wepu now. Good go-forward ball here, although through the hands of Hickey, but there's Feki Toa again. Hawkins making another tackle. Witten off a little switch pass there from Piri Wepu, and arm goes out. Well, Auckland will feel that their job over the next 24 minutes is to get a bonus point. Feki Toa taken in contact, so losing the ball, and they'll have to go back for the penalty.
Number 1 not rolling.
It looks like Hawkins has hurt his
Number 1
arm
didn't
here.
roll quick enough.
Great comeback from Auckland, though. They've just seen their great mate Joe Edwards go to the sideline, maybe a season-ending injury, so time where your thoughts could be with him. They snapped straight back onto it, Dowdy, so that was pleasing.
Yeah, no, you look to your experienced players, I suppose, and none more experienced than Noel. We see Jack Witten, a very inexperienced player at this level, and doing some very good things. But of course, he likes to see Piri Wepu, and we saw Tom McCartney earlier on taking it up. But I think Tom McCartney seems to be an unforgotten man in New Zealand rugby. We talk about hookers not being around. He's had a great season this year with the Blues. He's tried to convert to loose head prop purely because of Piri Wepu. I'm sorry, Kevin Milamu. He's done that, but for this team, he's been a standout.
A very experienced player now, playing his 81st game for Auckland. Tom McCartney's here about 70, 72 for the Blues it is. And they edge towards the line. Pratley answers the call of Piri Wepu to get in there. Takes over the role of carrier in the back of the ball. Wepu, I think, wants it now. Now he has to go in and fight for it. Northland have defended this pretty well. Auckland made ground, but in the end they give up possession.
Turnover.
Yeah, no, they would have worked hard, and I suppose, Karma, you know what it's like to work in a maul. Well, maybe you don't. Maybe you hung on the back of me, but it's very, very hard work when you got a maul going forward. It's hard on the legs, and it's heartbreaking for it to be coughed up that easy at the end of it.
So our cameraman picked up who it was, Tom Murday, the man from Australia, from Queensland, Australia, jersey 5 there. He gets himself and wraps his arms, the big arms, the mitts, around, uses his strength to hold him up. Yes, absolutely have no idea what's happening there, Dowdy. You just get in there, do the work, and I'll take the credit, my friend.
Yeah, you told everyone you're 100 kgs. You're actually 94 kgs, weren't you?
Need a height higher. You're too low, you're going to go down.
Dowdy.
Every Monday morning,
Giving away
Ian
some
Jones would turn up with
Dowdy.
weights in his pocket.
You're giving away some trade secrets
You
here,
are.
champ.
Heck. I thought you got my back, mate.
Crouch!
Never had to push Dowdy if you were. That was how it worked out.
You just jump in the line out, buddy.
Sit!
You two are
Didn't
starting,
even do that, though, did you? I
you
had to
two are
lift you, I had to
starting to
lift you
sound,
in.
you two are starting to sound like those two old guys in the
I think the whole
Muppets.
thing was quite messy, so we'll start again.
Waldorf and Statler.
Oh, you sound like Grouch.
Come on, gentlemen. Let's go.
Yeah, I'll go with Oscar.
Here we see Auckland, scrum time again. They'll want to put pressure on, although they won't want to give a penalty away. They'll want Northland to kick it out and probably take the line out 15, 20 yards out.
Sit!
Well, hooked by Northland, and they're hanging on this time. Been under a lot of pressure at scrum time. Now they're under pressure at a ruck just a couple of metres from their line. Takalua, back it goes to Hawkins, and it's a good clearing kick. From deep in his in goal, he's found touch about 32 metres out from the line.
That is a good kick, considering where he was when he took that ball. To get that much distance, he did very well.
It's an Auckland line out and taken down by Tui Pelotu, who gets up. He's a big man now. Hickey ghosting through the hole. This is a brilliant try and a bonus point for Auckland.
Well done, Simon. He's been doing it all night. He's been spying that gap, and finally then it opened up for him. I think when you've got two very solid midfielders outside, it might have caught the eye of the defence trying to defend George Moala and Vicky Taua, but they took their eye off Simon Hickey. He saw the gap and he took it. Off the top, good ball here. Daniel Pry committing there, so not covering the back of the line out. So the connection from the line out to 10 was on. Simon Hickey saw that, took the gap.
Yes, I'm afraid he's the man we need to flag there. Jersey 7 for Northland, left his toast. So not pushing out the inside shoulder all the way out. Gave Hickey an opportunity, which he took with open arms, and the conversion is made, Tony.
Well, Daniel Hawkins had come forward, but he slipped. Just have a look at the conversion here from Piri Wepu. So it's 31-10, and a very well taken try by the 19-year-old Simon Hickey.
Isn't it funny you talk about the Auckland side and how many 19-year-olds there are? It's just it's quite a shock, really, and I suppose Auckland Rugby's in good stead when there's that many youngsters on the field.
Well, Tui Pelotu, who's another one of those youngsters, comes forward, but he hasn't been able to take the ball cleanly.
And of course the kickoff last week was the reason he's not starting this week, from regathering it.
Northland now 21 points behind Tahitua, and makes a bit of space here for Ben Berridge, who's on in 19. Now, what can Northland do? Try and fight their way back and at least pick up a valuable bonus point. They're in a scrap to try and get themselves into the top four in a very compressed championship competition. Auckland, of course, looking to stay on the pace at the premiership level, behind Wellington and Canterbury, who play this weekend. Hawkins moves it on to Pryor, slips a lovely ball away to Tahitua. Auckland tried to get him out over the touchline, and now they might get a turnover here. They do. Nalawafe has gone in to play halfback, which is what he usually is. His kick hasn't gone out. Carpenter flings it across to Seymour, and a bit of room out on the right for Matthew Wright, who scored that try just before half-time. Try that gave Northland hope. Williams gets rid of it. Now they go to Pari Natai. Quick phase ball here. Hawkins moves it on. Now Carpenter. Cut down 5 metres short. Takalua. Away it goes to Moles. Now Pari Natai. Well, can they penetrate? They've found the Auckland defence pretty hard to budge inside their own 22. Their only try was a long-range effort. Fighting his way forward is Pryor. Ross Wright's going to pick this up. And they get the feet working to free it up. It usually works. Now Bronson Murray dragged to the ground. And the penalty. So Auckland's defence held, and now Wepu takes it quickly, and Pari Natai, well, that's just giving away 10 metres, that is.
Yeah, I think the slower the play got for Northland there, the more shored up the Auckland defence became, and then it became relatively easy for them to just to take the easy targets that were coming up off the one-off runners, and then eventually getting the turnover.
You see big offer to Angafasi there. Tony's about to come on. And when he comes on, you'll notice he also hasn't got any number on the back of his jersey, as we see this penalty turnover coming up from Auckland. A lot more committed, haven't they been, Craig, at the breakdown? A few more numbers.
Yeah, they just seemed more confident on the defence. The slower the Northland team got, the stronger they became, and they handled them quite well, not overcommitting at the breakdown.
Well, I see Manu also going on there, so it's a double change in the front row. Both the props coming off.
Ta'aval and Pratley. Tu'ungafasi there. Couldn't find a jersey big enough with a number on it, but I think we know it's him. And this is a good, strong drive here from Auckland. Wepu, high kick down to right, and takes it well, and off he goes. Matthew Wright. Good strong run from him. Got past Tui Pelotu before he's flung to the ground by Wepu. Takulua away to Hawkins, quickly onto Parinatai. Moala helping out on the tackle. It was Wetton who made it. Now Hawkins will kick out towards the far side of the field, and that's nicely judged.
Yeah, good vision. Just saw no one home there. Nicely judged kick. Just banking that territory.
Was it Seymour? That's Seymour there. It was Seymour who kicked it. There you go. Ben Seymour. Saili with the line outward. Now Tu'ungafasi away. And Wepu again, the high kick to test Matthew Wright. He's been up to everything so far. Quickly offloading it, and here's Malupo, man who came into this game because Rennie Ranger couldn't play, and he makes a lovely run right up the middle. Mateo Malupo. Hickey got back to make the tackle.
That was a great tackle from Simon Hickey.
Oh yes, and Wright might have had the ball ripped away here. Slightly dubious fashion. I'm not sure that there was a lot of releasing before that ball was grabbed. He's ruled a turnover, and it's going to be an Auckland scrum feed.
Well, that was a try-saving tackle from Simon Hickey. He's not a big man here, but what a great run from Monopo. It got away very hard. A couple of simple tackles falling off him, and here we see. Now that's textbook stuff. Probably not hanging on to him, but I'll give it a little bit critical. But he's not a big man, and he got him down, and he saved what should have been a try for Northland.
Another change, Tony, for Auckland. Nathan Vila, the jersey 16 from the Grimmer Carlton hookup, is on. Tom McCartney, he's done his 68 minutes of work and done them pretty well. The experienced man Craig Dowd talks about in these conditions they need to lead, and they have done.
So Nathan Vela, you can see him there in 16. Made 10 appearances last year for Auckland, all as a sub, and it's Ross Wright, the man who popped up in support, which was a good effort of that great run by Malupo.
And of course, the scrum's been going well for Auckland tonight, but now we see a completely new front row. A mixture of a bit of youth there with Bella and Tu'ungafasi, but Puliesi Manu, obviously a Chief winning prop for the Waikato Chiefs this year with the Super Rugby experience. That front row will want to lay down or carry on from the platform that was laid by the first front row. Otherwise, there'll be some jibs in the changing room afterwards, I'm sure. Well, you can see these two. Looks like Will Griff John has to come back on, Camo.
Yeah, and Max Sykes is the jersey 20, little halfback from the Camo Rugby Club. So proud moment for him and his family.
Right, we gotta get out. So let's get it up. Good.
Well,
come up.
Yeah, they had some ding-dong battles in the 1960s.
Heights, gentlemen.
Some of those continued to the 80s, 90s, and the 2000s, I kid you not.
Well, the Ranfurly Shield changed hands between the two provinces on a number of occasions through the 60s, 70s.
Sit!
Of course, you talk of Northland, there's so many legendary players. We mentioned the Going brothers before, Peter Jones, the great Johnny Smith.
And better height, gentlemen. I need you higher and heading up.
Well, a lot of those wins early on come from the great team of Ted Griffin. Had many wins over the Auckland Rugby Union. Special moment coming up soon, Tony. Carl Pryor, brother of Dan Pryor. All with very strong Northland connections, about to enter this field as well.
There's a much better scrum there from Northland. A bit of pressure forcing Auckland to turn in.
You mentioned Ted Griffin there, Camo. Under him, in 21 years, he coached them for 21 years, and they had 21 victories over Auckland. They used to play them twice a year.
Easy, eh? Jack Wetton coming off. Mum and Dad will be in the stands here tonight. Very proud moment for them.
Well, he's played well tonight, hasn't he? I mean, being a lock yourself, Camo.
Oh, he's played very well. Very athletic. Great prospect.
And talking of families, Carter Pryor is on. You just saw a little shot of him there as Jack Wetton leaves the field. Pryor on in 20, and so he is up against his big brother, Daniel Pryor. There he is, the younger, coming and talking of great families. Of course, we mentioned before the great Albie Pryor, and there's one grandson, Daniel, and the other one, Carter.
A bit of a shame William Wetton didn't make the Northland lineup for tonight. That would have been a fairly unique occasion in New Zealand rugby. The Pryors on either side and the Wettons on either side, but alas...
We could have played the game in the backyard. What do you reckon?
Weepu puts it in. Northland trying to put a bit of pressure on, but it's there for Piri Weepu. Feki Toa, who's done some good work coming in at first receiver, but he's fired that away, and Hawkins has got it for Northland. Reaching in is Sykes, holding it up Williams, and now taking it forward Bronson Murray. Determination there from the veteran Sykes. Away to Parinatai. Forwards bunching up here for Northland. It's John, Wilgriff John. And now Pryor.
17. Straight off feet.
Well, this will be a real frustration tonight for Darren Whitcomb. The number of penalties that they've given away in attacking maul or ruck situations, either through hanging on or going off their feet as they did on that occasion in an attacking situation.
Yeah, we saw there Bronson Murray coming straight off his feet. Peter Isieli went for the ball and he almost dived at the ball. And I'm sure Joe Edwards was sure that, well, he would like to see Bronson Murray stop doing actions like that.
Let's watch Bronson Murray coming in.
I mean, Peter Isieli had rights to it there. His actions would get him right away from the ball, but rightfully so, that's a penalty.
Tui Pelotu wins another line out. Hickey takes it up to the line. There's another thing you like about the way he plays. Here he is just a little deeper and kicking it high. Seymour underneath it. Misses it completely, but back to help mop up was Malupo, but they've given it away, and you don't want to give it away to George Moala, because that's a try. Visinia has gone over. Well, he might have dropped it. No, it is a try.
And he just copped one in the head as he scored that try. Almost a comedy there, as in, wasn't it, in that build-up? Possession turning over a couple of times through, I suppose, the ball just being a little bit slippery.
Thought for a moment when he went down and he grabbed his head that he looked like the reaction of someone who dropped the ball, but he hadn't. Lulangi Visinia gets his 4th try of the season. An outstanding prospect he is, but George Moala is the man who's caused havoc. Seymour didn't take it cleanly. Malupo back, and well, just your luck. You fire it away, and who's there but Moala and Visinia to finish.
Just been better at taking their opportunities, Auckland, in the second half of the game. We're disappointed with the performance earlier on. We really couldn't put Northland away in that opening 40, but they've done well. And Piri Weepu with a really, really difficult kick. Good camera shot there. Oh, tell you what, this man's a genius if he can get this one over.
Well, he's kicked from this angle already tonight. And that one just away to the left, but still on a night like tonight, 5 out of 7. That's a pretty good return for Wepu. 36-10 now, Auckland lead.
Behind, please.
Now Hawkins kicks off again and went shorter this time, but Auckland played at it, and so it's carry on. And Northland have it. Murray up over the 10-metre mark. Sykes away to Hawkins. Vicky Tork getting out quickly to make the tackle on Carpenter. Murday. Tuliasi Manu is there to drive him back. And hands all over the place.
16 hands on the ground.
Yeah, the ball was bouncing around quite a bit there, and the Northland player just couldn't quite resist it right in front of him, and thought he'd have a crack at it, playing it on the ground.
I hope that umbrella of yours is working well, Karma, because that rain is just absolutely driving down now.
These are the worst conditions of the night. 6.5 minutes to go. I mean, the concentration levels have to be really high for these players, because, you know, with 36-10, the game is in the bad for Auckland. They've done everything they needed to do. They've got the bonus point with the tries. But, you know, you still have to play this game out. You still have to concentrate, because if you don't, that's when those injuries come about.
Well, that was a very good kick from Auckland there. From that far out to put it 5 yards out from the try line. That's what you want to do from your kickers.
Well, Vella has the throw now. Yes, maximum distance gained by Hickey. I think it was Hickey who kicked it. Taken down by Tui Pelotu. Auckland just looking to finish the job off here now. Saili calling Tui Pelotu to help, and he does. Tolwa. Tui Pelotu. In fact, left it for the player just to his side, and they're getting very close to the line here. They're over. Let's see who gets up with the ball. I think it might be Tong Nafasi. Left the ball on the ground, didn't bother picking it up, but he's the man, I think, who got the pats on the back.
I think Tui Pelotu went to pick it up, but Tong Nafasi said, "No, mate, I'm taking this," and he reached back to pick it up and went straight over the top. We'll see it clear in the replay.
Well, he is a massive young man, and going that low. See, there he is there, picking himself up.
He's just gone over the top of the ball. Patrick Tui Pelotu goes to pick it up, and Offa says, "Nope, I'm taking this one." Picks it up and goes straight over the top.
And that's his first try at ITM Cup level for Auckland. That's a pretty proud moment for him. Not showing a lot of emotion there, mind you.
When you're 130 odd kgs, I'd say 5 yards out, you own that ball.
I think he might have been in that under-20 side that we were talking about before that played last year in South Africa.
Correct.
Well, Lulangi Visinia takes over the goal kicking. First opportunity that he's ever had at first class level to kick for goal. Strike it firmly, but away to the right. Well, there's the man Matthew Wright, who you saw just a moment ago getting that cut eye attended to. He's back on the field, but Auckland have another one, 41-10. Hawkins, well, he wasn't too happy with the kick, but he's got a good result because it's not been taken cleanly by Auckland. Tong Nafasi going in there, monstering Sykes, but they've got it. Murray. Pryor made the tackle. It's Carter Pryor in 20. Looking for an opportunity to line up his brother. They're in 7 for Northland. Sykes. Now, Bryce Williams has lost it. Snaffled by Liaki Moli, and Hickey spots a lot of space. Kicks deep, but kicks too far. And in fact, that could well go over the dead ball line. It does. It's a long way back.
Ouch.
Well, he hasn't done too much wrong tonight, has he, Craig?
A couple went out on the full.
Apart from that, yes.
That one there.
Yeah,
I think that's a part of his game that he'll be looking at. But these conditions aren't the best. But of course, you know, that territory, finding the territory, it's never easy. He's done some class acts tonight, especially for me, Simon Hickey. That defensive tackle he made on what was a certain try was a lot of bravery.
Well, there'll be some concerns about the injury toll for Auckland. That's the downside of this game. Parks looked like he'd done some sort of injury, leg injury, and of course
we're going to get ear to ear when that far
Vince
away. Here's the mark.
And this will be the one they're probably the most concerned about. Joe Edwards. He's got a smile on his face, but he's also got a sling around his arm.
Yeah, I think it was not nice to see him smile. He's too happy though, to be honest.
Sit.
Very much like he popped his shoulder.
Bad height. Bad height.
Well, Northland have taken it quickly. Pari Natai. Pryor made the tackle. Now Hawkins, more way through there, driven back in the tackle of Feki Toa. He's been very physically imposing tonight in this game. Northland still have it. Carpenter takes it forward. Sykes. Pari Natai has carried the ball a lot. Now Hawkins looks to get it wide. And slipping out of the tackle, and, doing pretty well is Tahitua. And the big wide pass, Carpenter onto Pari Natai, straightening nicely. To Umyafasi made the tackle, slipped a brilliant ball away to Dan Pryor. But he's lost it, and Patrick Tuipulotu comes storming away with it. Good tackle made by Tahitua. Sykes has it. Oh, what a changes of possession now. Little trick pass there from Hawkins. Now it's been lost again by North. I think we've had 5 or 6 turnovers in possession here. They're all going to have a big race for this. Race away, fellas. The flag's up. Back down by the 22.
And of course, his major concern out there, the medics are running to Patrick Tuipulotu in the middle. Looks like another serious injury for Auckland.
Oh boy, this is turning into a bit of a shocker. Jack Wetton's going to have to come back on, but Auckland, they're going to get maximum points, but it looks like they are going to have a heavy casualty list from this game.
I think the first thing we're going to see here is a neck brace going on to protect his neck.
Oh, Bronson Murray has gone in there and taken him with the shoulder. That is a dreadful thing.
That is sickening.
Oh, goodness me.
Oh.
Sickening collision.
My thoughts are with the Patrick Tuipulotu and his family. That is something no one likes to see. Whatever game you play.
That looks, look, yeah, he may well have a broken jaw here. Well, I don't think we've heard the last of that incident.
I think, yeah, unfortunately for one player, it's a second incident he's been involved with that's seen a player leave on a stretcher. And such a young, promising player too. He's had a great season. Patrick Tuipulotu, he's played very well for Auckland. He's been in the New Zealand 20s this season. He's got a big future ahead of him.
Yes, there was the clean out on Joe Edwards, which of course saw him with what appears to be a dislocated shoulder, and now he has taken Patrick Tuipulotu with what looked like a shoulder charge to the jaw, and Tuipulotu will leave the field.
Well, that's a good sight at least.
Yeah, I'm no medic, Tony, but having played with a broken jaw and been involved in incidents like that, I don't think it is. I think it was just... Yep, let's hope for the best, eh, Craig?
Yeah, well, look, he's walking, he's conscious, and obviously there's no damage to the neck. So I suppose those are the things we do know, and that's pleasing to see. But yeah, hopefully he comes back from a quick recovery.
Well, and having said that, the ref hasn't asked to have a look at it again, so maybe he's happy with what he's seen. Oh, Sykes has it. It wasn't straight. That'll be the end of the game. So Auckland get the points, but it looks like they've got a few long-term casualties out of this game with some big matches ahead. 41-10 the final score. Well, it looks comfortable on the scoreboard. They've paid a bit of a price for it, Auckland, with some injuries, but 6 tries to 1 in the end, a 41-10 win. Some very good goal kicking tonight from Piri Wepu, who's standing by with Ian Jones.
Well, Piri, congratulations. Really challenging conditions out there, but your energy levels the second half were good.
Yeah, I guess we had to sort of brush the last minute of that first half and come out and make sure that the boys were firing, and it took a bit of time to get into it, but the boys managed to work it all out sort of 20 minutes into it.
Look, it rained throughout the whole entire match, but the second half the handling was good, and so getting over the gain line must have been a pleasing feature.
I guess we made the emphasis that we've got to make sure we stay in control of the ball. When we carry hard, we make sure that we go down with the ball and we present well. And I think the boys made a better effort this week. We're sort of been the last couple of weeks we're sort of known to sort of fumble the ball a bit. So I guess the boys have done really well to step up this week after a poor performance last week.
Thanks for your time, Canterbury. Next time.
Cheers.
Yes, Canterbury involved this weekend in one of the feature clashes. Already we've seen Southland getting another win over Bay of Plenty at Taranaki, at Tauranga, and still to come, Otago Manawatu on Friday night. And then the Ramphilly Shield match on Saturday at Pukekoi. Counties Manukau defending against Waikato. Then Wellington Canterbury, feature game of the weekend, the other feature game of the weekend, as well as the Shield game at 5:30. Taranaki then against Bay of Plenty in New Plymouth. And on Sunday, Tasman, Hawke's Bay and Southland, North Harbour. Quick word with Jake Parinatai, the Northland captain. Kamo.
Yep, thanks very much, Tony. Well, Jake's first half in particular, you had opportunities and you didn't take them, which you need to against this team.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think after half-time, I knew we scored that try just at the end of the first half, and I thought we got a good chance here. But, come out second half, we sort of didn't really help ourselves. Gave away a few penalties and they got back in the game, and then from there we sort of fell off a few tackles, and can't really do that against a team like this. They've got firepower over the field, and as you've seen, they got a few tries and end up sort of blowing out near the end. But, full credit to my boys there. We hung in there for 80 minutes, and, I can't take that away from them. So I'm pretty proud of the boys today, but, we've got to be a bit better than that. Once again, it's our own mistakes that are killing us, eh? So, we'll learn from this, take out the positives, and obviously work on a few things for the next game against Tasman at home. So we're looking forward to that. Got a 7-day turnaround, so rest up and get ready for that.
Yep, thanks for your time. I'll see you in Whangarei. Enjoy the rest.
Yeah, no, see you up there. See you.
So final score at Eden Park, Auckland 41, Northland 10.
Coverage of the 2013 ITM Cup was proudly brought to you by the Tui Brewery.
This content was proudly made right here in New Zealand.